Folks, we've got an OMI price explosion going on over here. Let's break it down and see what the chart is telling us about what move is next. What's up, gang? It is I, Carlton Flowers, your crypto pro.
Yay!
With another report on the technical analysis with the OMI token. Guys, this is getting crazy. I can't believe my eyes. We're sitting here at a price currently at 0.006.
Woo!
And think about this. How many people in the last few days, few weeks have been saying things like, oh, well, I think OMI will reach 0.005 within the next 1 to 2 months and then possibly hit 1 cent within the next 6 to 9 months or a year. And then here we sit breaking 0.005, sitting at the peak at 0.006 right now as we speak. OMI is hot right now, and I think that is why a lot of these predictions were wrong, because they did not consider the developments that are happening with the impending move to the Immutable X blockchain from the GoChain blockchain, and also a lot of the activity that has been ramping up with the VeVe app as far as the drops selling out in record speed. Okay, so anyway, let's get rid of my handsome face and jump straight into this 4-hour chart. And I'm going to tell you what I see off the cuff, unrehearsed, and then we'll look at the 1-day chart and then call it a night. I'm just so glad that we've got enough data that has been printed on the TradingView chart since the move of OMI to OKEX. Is it OKEX? I think that's what it was. Well, yeah, OKEX, there it is right there, duh. Now that we have enough of a period of time that we have candles on this 4-hour chart, we can kind of get a good idea of what these technical indicators are telling us. Well, rather, my favorite technical indicators, and we're going to go over all of those right now. So grab your coffee and get your popcorn, and I'm going to show you what I see right here. Now let's scrunch this up just a little bit and move it over. We've got some nice action on the VPVR, which will explain the stopping points and the launching points that we have had. In fact, let me see if I can just scrunch in. Here's the beginning day when we jumped on OKEX, and of course there was a pump, and then we come down. Before that, we had an extended period of time that we were in a downtrend. This period of time was the dog days for OMI. I always talk about the dog days, and that's when you buy, and that's when price is laying down low like a dog. Now, of course, I bought way back when, I guess it was last February or March, at an average price of 0.00269. That was my entry. We did dip down to as low as 0.0019, but then we entered these dog days, and after that, we started the uptrend. So here we are, where we had a rising base. Notice that, let's just point out all of the base points. Here was the low right here, okay? And then after that point, our next lows were higher. These were higher lows. And then we had another higher low right here. Then we moved up to this point, quick correction here, higher low. Here was our next base point, higher low, another higher low. And then we broke this one, but we did settle right down on the 200 EMA line, and we launched off of that. And since then, it's been one higher low after another. I'll just point these out here. And you can't even call these higher lows after this point, because this is really a higher medium point, as we had this bull flag right here. This was an ascending triangle that formed from this point all the way to this point. And there was our flag. And when you take the measured move, it did go all the way to the length of that flagpole, where we made another parallel triangle that broke out and took the height, which it's really not done. It could go a little bit higher. So this has been the last, let's look back here and turn drawing mode off. This was back on August the 3rd that this action started to do this side banding, and then the uptrend started on approximately, I guess if you could call this the low point here, August the 16th is when we started our trek up. And so here we go in a rather parabolic move up. So now we need to figure out, well, where does it go from here? But let's just look at the action so we can see why we had this pump from the technical standpoint. We know what the fundamental reasons were, but let's just look at the technical analysis here. As I always teach, you look at the stochastic highs and the stochastic lows, and you compare which direction those peaks are going. So as for example, at this stochastic peak, we returned to price here. This one, we just kind of pulled the same price slightly lower. Here, it was slightly higher. Then the party started. On this peak, we had the pump there. On this peak, it was a lower return, and I almost thought we could possibly be in a downtrend, but since we had jumped off of this 200 line, I kind of was leaning towards the fact that we are still in an overall uptrend. So the next peak returned us this pop right there. And then here we are again with the current stochastic peak where we are sitting in the overbought zone. Now, what is very, very interesting to me is this MACD. Now, this is strong, guys, and it's not done. And I'll show you why. So as we were moving on down the line, we had this nice move up that was going on to this peak, and then we had the correction that dipped us down. But then by the time we crossed that zero line, we were back in an uptrend. So here we are sailing up with clear upward momentum, but notice the divergence between the fast line and the slow line here on the MACD oscillators. See, look at the difference. The distance, rather, between these two lines right here. This is diverging. So if the fast line, which is that blue one, is diverging away from this slow line, which is the orange, that's a confirmation of a continuation of the current trend. So what I expect is that these lines will continue up until we get to a peak, and then we'll have to see what happens when we go into a full cycle down to see what our next lower point could be. Now, as far as corrections and coming back down, let's show you what the possibilities are. Keep in mind, none of this is financial advice. I'm just reading the chart and showing you my approximations. We know that the 200 EMA is going to get pulled up by the current spike in price, and it's going to look like this, all right? Something like that. And then we know that the 50 EMA is also going to get pulled up. It's going to go straight up in the air, something like that. And so we look at the possible correction points, and I'll tell you right now, we have these big fat volume nodes. Number one, which is right here centered at the 0.0055. This is a nice fat node here. And we have another one that's centered at 0.0046 right here. Okay, now down below that, we've got the one at 0.0038 right here. I don't think we're going to correct that far down because the point of control price, the 0.0029, appears to be the absolute base, but I don't think we're going to break through the 200 EMA line because we are in a bullish uptrend. So the next correction, once we come off of this parabolic move that we are pushing at the top, look at this. We don't even have a wick on the 4-hour candle. Now we have a wick. It just did that right when I said we don't have a wick. Ha ha. Well, anyway, the first correction point could be here at 0.0055 at this node, which is fairly probable. And then it could also come all the way down here to this 0.0045 node, which would not be bad at all. So let's just say, for instance, that we get red candles that bring us down to that point. Let's just say it comes down to the lower point and looks something like this. We're still in an uptrend. We're still looking good, and we would have a nice healthy retracement to the 200 EMA. There it is, right there. This could bring us right down where the 200 EMA line would be matching up with this volume node right here. And I would expect that if we were to correct that far down, that would be our next bounce. Whoops, let's get an arrow there. There we go. I would expect that that would be the next point that we start another leg up. And so as you can see, we take the trip up here, side banding, we have a spike, and then we have to have that correction. And that correction brought us down to the 200 EMA. We moved back above the 200 and the 50, and here we are in the middle of the spike. And so at some point, once this is done, who knows how far that will go, we will correct down, either back down to one of these two volume nodes. Now, I could be wrong. We could come all the way down to 0.0038. I don't see that happening with the move to immutable X coming and with all the action that is happening right now in the VeVe market. I don't even want to get on that topic about the explosion in price of a lot of the items that are on the market right now. Okay, and we're talking comics and we're talking the regular collectibles. There are many that are going nuts, like the Labbits. The Labbits are going crazy, and the Marvel Mighties, which I never thought would hold value, are going nuts. Lucky for me, I've got two complete sets of each series of Marvel Mighties with more than two on many of them while they are cheap. But that's off the topic. Let's just clear this out, jump to the one-day chart, and then we're done. The one day won't be as comprehensive because there's not as much data, but we do see on the one day that we are entering, are really already in the oversold zone, overbought zone up here in the stochastic, where it does not look like the stochastic is ready to cross over. We still have some divergence between the fast line and the slow line. Momentum is still moving up, although the blue line has slightly ticked over a little bit. However, the trailing MACD oscillators are diverging. Look at that. They are getting further away from each other, and they are peaking. There's not much room for them to go on this peak, but there's a little bit more to go. And that's why I think my guess is that we haven't seen the absolute top of this current peak. It could go a little bit above 6. It could jump up towards 0.007. I don't know. But as soon as this stochastic cycle is done right here, we're going to look for a correction, and then we will follow to see once this one-day stochastic comes all the way down to whatever the bottom point is. It may not even make it to the oversold zone, but once we get to that bottom point, we're going to want to know what that next corresponding peak is. So for all the people that are saying it's going to take 6 months to a year to hit 1 cent, nonsense. We have already broken that once before. We don't know what could happen. All right. Maybe it does take a year, but don't think for 1 minute that anybody knows exactly when we are going to cross these milestones. Nobody knows. Everybody thinks that they've got the crystal ball. They don't know. So I like to talk and discuss about what the possibilities are based on probability. Okay. And I think that there is a high probability that we jump up to that 1 cent point probably within the next month or two with the action that is going on right now. So that's all I've got. I am very bullish, very excited. Share this video with your OMI holding friends. I do hold a milli bag. I'm holding mine strong. Yay! I've got my 1,024,000 tokens in the firm grip of my hand, holding on to them until we cross the glorious $1 point, and I don't care how long it takes, because I'm gonna wait until we get to the promised land, the OMI promised land, yes, and then I'll start selling off my tokens in one chunk at a time, with my exit strategy being that I will sell in 100,000 increments, because I will be a whale by then, by the time price hits $1. Well, anyway, that's all I have. Let me know in the comments what you think about the price action, what you think about my technical analysis, and how excited that you are about OMI. And if you're ready to ride this baby to the moon. Woo! That's about all I got for now. Like, subscribe, tell a friend, and I will keep you posted on the OMI technical analysis and price action for the duration. We'll see ya.